over here that called Big Beef. I kind of consider my main crop tomato.
But this is so big compared to some of the others.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is because it is one of those kind of. Well, we'll just keep talking. You can eat. So I think it's good to have what I would call a main crop. So one that you can kind of count on every year. Big Beef is a really nice one. Some of the other ones, like Beef Master and some of those, I think almost get too big, and then they get kind of wrinkly, and I think they're harder to cut, and I don't know. Anyway, so I like Big Beef. It tends to be very disease resistant.
Yeah, that's good.
It's really a pretty nice one. That one I picked probably could be a little bit redder. I kind of actually picked it a little bit green. I will tell you to let people know that when it gets really hot, you're actually better off to pick them when they're just not quite ripe, because they'll actually go ahead and ripen indoors, and it'll be better. The best ripening temperature is about 75 degrees, and you know we've been having temperatures a lot hotter than that.
You aren't supposed to keep them in the fridge.
Do not put them in the fridge. Absolutely. It makes the skin tough. It really doesn't help them at all. So really hot weather, you might want to go ahead and pick them. So Big Beef, I think, is a great one, kind of all-around good tomato.
And in terms of taste, this is the one that you expect to taste. You go to a restaurant,
that tomato.
This is what you'd call a tomato.
It's a good hamburger kind of tomato, too. Nice size. Celebrity is another one that I really like, which is that next one. It's a little smaller tomato, but I think Celebrity is a nice one in that it's for smaller spaces. Maybe you have a smaller garden, because there are indeterminates and determinate tomatoes, and the indeterminate ones are the ones that eat your garage. They just keep they're not indeterminate. It means they just keep growing and growing. The determinate ones are like the Celebrity. They're much smaller. They tend to ripen all at the same time. If you really like to can tomatoes or make lots and lots of salsa, it's nice to have those determinate ones. They tend to all come on at the same time, and then you've got lots of them.
Good for people too who are maybe growing it in a pot on their balcony in an apartment.
It's a smaller plant. There's some nice patio tomatoes now that tend to be smaller plants, so those are really good. One of my all-time favorites is actually this Lemon Boy, and I know sometimes people don't really like yellow ones, but I think they're beautiful, and it really has great flavor to it. You can see it's a really nice big tomato, but I really like Lemon Boy quite a bit. And you can see these are really nice big ones.
I put these two right next to each other, though. I mean, they look pretty much the same. So help me to understand, other than the color, what's the difference between the two? They're different
certainly
species.
Some genetics. Yeah, pretty much the species stays the same for probably most of the domestic type tomatoes that we're going to be growing. It's really genetics. It's just tomatoes have been around forever, and people, of course, have saved the seeds year to year to year, and then you end up with all these different varieties. And you know, the other that kind of leads into our next one, the whole idea of heirlooms, because there's a lot of ones that maybe people even have at home where they say, you know, Grandma had this, and this is the one she always planted, and I love it. What is it? So there are lots of heirlooms now. This is actually a Black Prince, which is an heirloom. You can see it's called black, but it kind of does, and this is ripe. It may look a little weird because it got this kind of weird kind of color to it, and even on the inside it looks a little weird. So some of the heirlooms may not be the prettiest things in the world, but they have great flavor. Oh, try this. I know, not terribly pretty. It's kind of an odd color. I'm not sure I'd say it's pretty, but I think it's a very juicy tomato and just good rich flavor, I think.
Yeah, those are
It has a lot, yeah. So there's Black Creme, Black Prince, there's a bunch of black ones like that. So these are perfectly ripe, it's just, they look a little bit different.
All right, well, we're about out of time.
Okay.
You're going to stick around.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to answer some good questions from viewers.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
And enjoy those cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, those are good ones
For more gardening tips with Sandy, you can go to sayliving.tv. Next, we're getting it.